Oh, here comes a sick one.
Ronnie and Paul breaking things down. We're all washed up on the whole down.
Welcome to the Hold Down, the surf show that, just like the ocean, is 99% salt water and 1% froth. I'm your host, Ronnie Blakey, and my co-host this season, his shirts have been louder than Ricardo Toledo's whistles, is my big brother Vaughan. How are you, Vaughan?
Thanks, Ron. Well, coming from someone who wears their pyjamas down to the supermarket, I'll take that as a compliment.
Mate, we've got a big show in store for everyone today, because for some people, there's an element of surfing that's more important than world titles, it's bigger than comp wins and huge moves, and that is style.
Style cannot be taught. It's something that just is in the blood and reveals itself over time. And often, Ron, when we talk about style, we find ourselves talking about women's surfing because really, in the history of surfing, men's and women's, it is the ladies who bring the style to surfing.
That's so true. And with the help of Roxy today, we're going to present a list to you of surfers that reached the very top, the pinnacle of their sports, influencing generations with their amazing style. And this is our number 5. 17-year-old Caroline Marks has blown us all away with her incredible style, especially on the backhand.
When I first saw a photo of Caroline Marks, I was editing Surfing World magazine and I thought it was Occy.
Beautiful.
I'm not joking, it was a backside bottom turn and I just saw the line and went, oh, there's a sick shot of Ock. Mate, she must have been 14 when I saw that photo. Well, no surprises, she's brought a power game to female surfing that we have not seen in an age, and I think could already be called the best backhand surfer we've ever seen in women's pro surfing.
You said it earlier on, Vaughan, you can't teach style. Caroline Marks, 15 years of age, the youngest surfer to ever qualify for the championship tour. She had that style as she made her way through those qualifying ranks and she's refined it. Now the power is coming, she's just getting better and better.
Well, that's what I love about Caroline. She's come on tour and she has done it all in her own way. She hasn't sacrificed one bit of her natural game, which is basically feet planted, draw it off the bottom, attack the lip as hard as you can. That is such a refreshing thing to see, mate. Vertical on the backhand, really punching it and using it to get that first big win at the start of the season.
Let's make some comparisons. You mentioned Occy, and you know, that's the go-to straight away when you see Caroline surf. And it's all set up, I think, with the bottom hand turn. The way that she rotates that body, opens those shoulders up, and just attacks the lip.
You're right, Ron. It all starts with the bottom turn, and I don't think there's a surf coach alive anywhere who wouldn't point to her and say, this is how you do it. It is so drawn out, there's so much power, and she is always looking to go vertical. Basically, that means critical, powerful surfing.
Definitely. I think that for some people, style is about being still on the wave, very subtle movements. Caroline has a lot of talk in her surfing, but all the parts are in the right place. Her arms are really well placed. It's very functional, her style, and it results in huge power turns.
When I was speaking to Mick Fanning about world title threats over the next few years, I threw Caroline Marks' name at him and he said, oh, I'd give her a couple. I'd give her a couple more years just to find her feet on tour. She's very young. When you get on young, you know, the whole circus can be a bit overwhelming. But she has proven with that power game just how ready she is to already attack a world title run.
Broke through for her first victory in 2019, took the lead on the ratings towards a world title. Always going to be hard to maintain that pace, but she is learning. She's getting better, she's getting more familiar with all the locations on the tour, and with style to burn, she's going to have a long career.
And I don't think anyone on tour, whether it's Steph Gilmore, Carissa Moore, Courtney, Lakey, the big guns who have been there and done it for a few years, they don't see her as a weakness. They see her as a real threat, and she is styling her way for a whole new power game in women's surfing.
Still 4 more beautiful styles to uncover here today, courtesy of Roxy. You're watching The Hold Down.
We're all washed up on the whole down.
Oh, here comes a sick one.
Ronnie and Paul breaking things down. We're all washed up on the whole down.
Welcome back to The Hold Down. Today on the show, we're looking at style queens. We've had a talk about Caroline Marks, that amazing backhand approach that she possesses, but this time we're going to step things up onto the longboard. This is our number 4.
From the south shore of Oahu, a member of a famous surfing family, it is Kalea Moniz. and she is a two-time world champion and probably one of the most graceful surfers we've ever seen step foot onto the fiberglass and the foam rock.
It's one of my favourite things to watch. When you see a woman on a longboard just gently sidestepping her way to the nose, you know, it's just a thing of beauty.
It is a thing of beauty, Ron. And the great thing about longboarding is that, you know, it is celebrated in competition mode, but also celebrated as just a wonderful way to free surf. Probably the best way to have fun. Anyone can do it, but not many people can do it with the kind of style that Kalea brings to it. Here's the thing though, she's not a one-trick pony. It's not just about logging. She can take it to anywhere. And when your dad is Tony Muniz, you're gonna grow up knowing how to surf heavy water. And one of my favourite things that I ever saw was Kalea having a dig at Chopu on the log. Have you seen this footage?
I've seen the vision. It's absolutely incredible. I just can't believe that she thought that that was a good idea. those boards barely fit in the face of those waves, but to her credit, threw herself over the ledge. Unfortunately, got extremely worked.
Well,
but, you know, you got to pay your dues over there.
I spoke to Kalea on the phone once doing an interview after that, and the whole family, she sent the footage back to Josh, Seth, Tony, all the fam, and they were just tripping. I was so stoked. And there's also footage of Steph Gilmore in the boat, losing it. So Kalea, not just able to, you know, blind us with her beauty, cross-stepping on the log, but has the gumption to take on the heavy water as well. That aside again, Ron, she also lives this incredible life, travelling the globe, hanging out with celebrities. Her nickname is Sis, and I think everyone really does feel like she's part of the family.
Kalea Moniz, I could watch her surf all day. We're going from one great Hawaiian to another. This is number 3 on our list of the most stylish surfers of all time.
Rel Sun, the queen of Makaha. This woman's influence on surfing cannot be overstated, Ron. In fact, when we talk about Rel, we hold her in the same esteem as the great Duke Kahanamoku, the man who basically brought surfing to the entire world.
Yeah, and I think also too, she started a few things in the surfing world that have kind of been followed on. She had the Rel Sun Menahuni contest. That's something that's been emulated by other professional surfers and introduced a whole new generation of young kids to the sport of surfing.
Let's just talk about her surfing for a second, because her surfing was graceful, radical, futuristic, but tied deeply into the roots of that entire Hawaiian experience. She basically embodies aloha in her surfing and in her being. When she first started surfing, she couldn't even find a women's category to surf in, so she often surfed against the guys. What did that lead to? That led to her wanting to create opportunity for women surfing. She helped form the women's side of professional surfing a year after PT and pro surfing kicked off in 1976. 77, she was right there. Ended up finishing 3rd in the world, I think twice, and then also went on to a very storied and fabled career. But more than that, Ron, it was how she embodied and wanted to share the aloha spirit and surfing with everyone, especially the underprivileged and the poor people on the west side of Oahu. The ocean was her home, Ron, and aside from being a surfer, she was a freediver, an outrigger canoe paddler, and a lifeguard. So she basically just immersed herself in everything to do with the ocean. And I think that's why so many people just have so much respect for her.
Well, Relson passed away sadly after a 14-year battle with breast cancer, but she surfed every day during that battle. She had style and grace that's been unmatched, I think, and she's a legend. We'll never forget her.
That's right, and her spirit lives on in every wave ridden by every single woman today. So, Relson, we salute you.
Well said, Vorno. We'll stick around because after the break, we'll reveal number 2 on our list of style queens here on The Hold Down.
We're all washed up on the whole down.
Oh, here comes a sick one.
Ronnie and Paul breaking things down. We're all washed up on the whole down.
Welcome back to The Hold Down. Today on the show, we're celebrating some of the most stylish female surfers the sport has ever seen. We've touched on some legends, Vaughan. This next one is one of my favourites. Here's number 2 on our list.
The great Lisa Anderson. Through the early 90s, it was just all about Florida. Kelly Slater and Lisa Anderson completely dominated the world tour. Kelly racking up world titles and Lisa Anderson incredibly 4 world titles in a row. It was mind-blowing just how much these two changed the sport. But full credit to Lisa Anderson, because not only did she change the sport performance-wise, she basically introduced the industry to an entirely new market.
Yeah, Lisa Anderson, competitively very successful, but she was also a major player in the birth of Roxy and helped them create products that women could wear in the lineup.
I know, it seems hard to believe that, this whole industry had been just built completely on one side of the market when all these other people loved surfing and had nothing to wear. It's crazy. But let's take it back a little bit earlier than that, Ron, because Lisa Anderson's story starts when she actually runs away from home to join the world tour as a 16-year-old. I mean, that is crazy stuff. But she had the raw talent and she knew that she could get out there and start winning a few heats.
Yes, Vorno, and like we said earlier, style, it can't be taught, and Lisa Anderson has one of the best styles we've ever seen.
Yeah, and it comes as no surprise that both Lisa Anderson and Kelly Slater borrowed heavily from Tom Curran, the ultimate style master from California. Other side of the country from where those two are from, but clearly the hero that they wanted to emulate. And here's the thing. Pro surfing, up until Curran came along, was full of meaty little chunky animals. The Australians had really started to dominate. Curran brought that silky smooth finesse back to the world tour, and that's what Lisa Anderson was also looking to do with women's surfing.
Yeah, there were some amazing surfers obviously before Lisa, but I think her style was something that everyone really appreciated. It influenced a whole new generation of younger surfers too, and that became a focus. While you can't teach style, technique and form is really important in just becoming a better surfer, and Lisa's technique and form was impeccable.
So much so that Surfer magazine one day ran a cover of Lisa Anderson saying Lisa Anderson surfs better than you, which at the time seems like almost rude to throw something like that out now. But at the time, that was a real affront to the masculine dominance that was sort of perpetuated all through the surf industry and surf culture worldwide. So, she did start to change the game, and when she got that major support and was able to start winning comps, the whole world just exploded. Not just for her, for women surfing as well.
I think Lisa Anderson's probably had more surf mag covers than any other woman in the history of the sport, but more than that, she leaves an incredible legacy.
That's right, Ron. She was stylish, she was aggressive, she was radical. And when we look at the influence and the lasting influence of Lisa Anderson on women surfing, it's that she inspired young girls to grow up not to be the little sister of the big brother, but to actually go out there and dominate on their own terms.
Yeah, an incredible documentary you can check out too is Trouble. Make sure you get eyes on it. Lisa Anderson's story is one not to be missed. Stick around because after the break here on The Hold Down, we'll reveal number 1 on our list of style queens.
We're all washed up on the whole down.
Oh, here comes a sick one.
Ronnie and Paul breaking things down. We're all washed up on the whole down.
Welcome back to The Hold Down. Ronnie and Vaughan talking about style queens today, and we're at that point in the show where it's time to reveal number 1. Well, Vorno, only one person was ever going to sit at number one on this list. The ultimate style queen, the greatest style of all time maybe, Stephanie Gilmore.
Mate, there's not a surfer alive who doesn't love watching Steph Gilmore surf. Her movement and her read on a wave is just pure artistry, and I don't think there's anyone who enjoys surfing more. And I think that's where the style really connects with what she does on a wave.
Elles sont aimées par tout le monde. Nina, Riri et Fifi, du petit café de minuit. Chante-moi une chanson, ma petite chérie. Je t'en prie, sois donc gentille. Vive la vie sans souci entre amis. Au petit café de minuit.
Vaughan, professional surfing, it's given us amazing styles over the years, but Stephanie Gilmore, she's a veteran, and sometimes when you've been performing to that criteria for such a long period of time, your surfing can maybe get a little bit predictable, but Steph, her lines are part of the beauty of her style, so unique.
And how does she do it? How does she be so competitive and so lovable? That's the weirdest thing. Everyone, who wins has to win with some sort of compromise in their attitude. You know what I mean? Like, you've got to be selfish, you've got to be mean, you've got to be willing to sort of cross lines to get that win. But Steph just seems to be able to cruise to wins. Her competitive attitude feeds into her style even more, because when she really starts to fire, that's when we see some of her best surfing go down.
And we've only touched on her style in the water. Outside of the water, give her an axe, give her a guitar. She actually made this when she was in year 12. But you give her a guitar and she will rip that fretboard apart.
So often when we think of guys who are stylish, we think of guys who aren't in pro surfing or involved with it. Dave Rastovich, Craig Anderson, like guys who surf with a rare beauty. But Steph Gilmore has transferred style into the pro surfing realm in a way that has delivered victory after victory after victory. She's never had to compromise that will to win.
Amazing to think, Vaughan, that she's won 30 championship tour events. What are some of your favourite wins?
The one that springs to mind instantly is Bali. The way she surfed that final and the 10 she got just says everything I love about her surfing. Smooth, fluid, radical, but also having the time of her life. That tube on the inside, wow, it was just so deep, behind the foam ball, comes through the chandelier. It just felt like to me, after so many years of competing, she had found the love of it again. It was all over her face as she came up the beach. She's the greatest world champ, matching Lane Beachley's record, 7 world titles. I think she's still got another one in her.
Most definitely, and she's had those magic moments at other venues too. I particularly like her surfing at Honolulu Bay, where all the other competitors are just desperate to get to those major opportunities to collect big points. Steph will take her time, pick her moments carefully, and it all adds to the magic, it all adds to the style.
But everywhere she wins, it's a special thing to watch because surfing that beautiful, you just don't get tired of it.
So true, Vaughan. Well, it's been fun looking at 5 of the most stylish women we've ever seen stand up on a surfboard. That's all we got time for today on the show, though. Make sure you tune in next week for more on The Hold Down.
Wrap it up, boys. It's all over. Love Island's out performing it.